a dependency case pending with the court since November 2022. That's on for judicial review in lieu of the citizens review panel as the children are in foster care. We're conducting the hearing virtually over the internet using Zoom. And we have Ms. Crane is the attorney for Mr. Houseworth, the father of Zayden. Ms. Miller, the guardian ad litem attorney for the children. Ms. Waller, the attorney for defects. Mr. Houseworth, Zayden's dad. Ms. Wilcox, the defects case manager. Courtney Nelson, the mother. Her attorney, Ms. Riddle, is here. I don't know. I'm not familiar with Lonte Dewberry.
Oh, that's my son.
Judge, excuse me. I represent Mr. Clark, not Miss Nelson.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Well, my file says you represent Ms. Nelson.
Correct. Then,
But I may be maybe it's in my handwriting. So maybe, no, it's not my handwriting either, but you know what? It's written right over where the previous lawyer was scratched out. So maybe it was intended for him. Ms. Nelson, do you not have an attorney?
No, Your Honor. I've requested to get reassigned one, but I have yet to have that done.
But you weren't at the last hearing, so you didn't request it then. When did you request it?
The one before that, when the reason why we rescheduled the hearing after that, but I'm at another procedure in order to obtain another one, as far as having to produce it in writing and I guess resubmit the financial affidavit to the court and have it notarized. I just became aware of that part. I thought
you didn't do that.
She sent it to me this weekend, Friday.
Okay. Well, today's Tuesday. Did you fill it out and send it back yesterday?
No, Your Honor. Honestly, I just fixed my car last night.
Okay. Well, send it in so that we can process it, okay?
Yeah, no, she said that I had to have it notarized. Could I have it notarized individually? And if I had to get it notarized by your staff, how much is the notary there? So I can be prepared for that.
They don't charge for you to notarize anything in the office.
Okay.
Make sure that's right. Yeah. Okay. They don't charge. I just wanted to make sure because I've never had anybody ask me if they charged. I know notaries out in the real world charge, but these are real notaries and they don't charge. We have them here because people need things notarized.
How long is the courthouse open today, Your Honor?
5 o'clock.
Okay, well, I may have a chance to run it by there.
You can be cutting it short. Usually these hearings last anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. Sometimes they go longer. We'll have to all talk fast so we can hopefully leave you time to do that. But if you don't, do it tomorrow, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So I misspoke. Now that I look at the notes, I think, Ms. Riddle, I think you are Mr. Clark's attorney, but Mr. Clark isn't here, correct?
Yes, sir. I do not see him here.
Does he still live with you, Ms. Nelson?
Yes, Your Honor. He is probably still at work.
Okay. Seems like there was one other time he may have sent word that he had to work and couldn't come. I have that happen from time to time with other people, so I may have him confused with that.
No, probably so. Sometimes it just drags over a little longer than intended.
Who did Miss Dewberry say that?
That's just my oldest son.
Okay. How old is he?
18.
Okay. All right. Is he going to be a witness?
I mean, he just wanted to, I guess, be a part of it because he's just been kind of wanting to know, like, just more information about what's going on.
The hearing is open to the public. He can watch it on YouTube. But I'm fine with him sitting in, but if he's going to sit in as a potential witness, I can't. He has to sit outside. He has to be in the waiting room until you call him as a witness. If he's just watching, he can stay there. But if he stays here, you can't call him as a witness. Does that make sense?
I mean,
Dewberry, you understand that you can't
yeah.
participate. You're not a party to this case. You can't just start talking or interrupt and say, I need to tell you something. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You can mute yourself back, and you need to turn on your camera, though, because I need to be able to see people that are here. He's 18. He looks 30.
Yeah. That's why I said they growing up so fast. Him and my daughter. Those my big babies.
Are you really 18, Mr. Dewberry?
Oh, yes, sir. I'm really 18.
Oh, my goodness.
He's a jock. You know, they grow up fast.
All right, we're here for judicial review in lieu of a panel, and which is every 6 months we review the progress of the parties, the parents on their case plans, and how the children are doing. And Ms. Waller's going to give me a summary of what's transpired since the last review, and then we'll make Ms. Wilcox available for questions about that report, and then we'll have the other parties available for questions or what they need to tell me as part of the review. So go ahead, Ms. Waller.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Nelson is currently doing individual counseling and level 1 outpatient substance abuse treatment. Mr. Clark is currently doing level 1 outpatient substance abuse treatment as well. Our last drug screens for Mr. Clark, they have been negative. The most recent was by urine and hair on November 27th. Both of those were negative. Ms. Clark, her most recent that we were able to obtain was November 9th. Hair was positive for amphetamine and methamphetamine. Urine was positive for amphetamine and methamphetamine. The November 21st date was missed, and the December 4th drug screen went down as a refusal. One note about Mr. Clark's latest hair screen, there was not a sufficient enough quantity to test for amphetamines or methamphetamines, but otherwise the test was negative. Visitation is occurring every Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then either Saturday or Sunday with the 2 children currently in care. It is supervised by DPFIS and Georgia Counseling. The children have CAP certification. Kaylani and Kadrian have a pending babies can't wait referral to determine if they will require additional services at this time. Kadrian has a behavioral aid in place. Kaylani is in daycare. Kadrian's not currently in daycare as he was kicked out due to his behaviors. At this time, the department requests that custody remain with the department. Ms. Wilcox, is everything I said true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
The services for level 1 and that was discharged. I don't know if you got the email I sent, but they were discharged from that service.
Discharged as having completed it, or discharged because they weren't completing
the
it?
discharge for dad was completion, but for mom, she was discharged due to other reasons, and no, she did not complete.
Well, what were the reasons?
Basically the therapist that's providing the service feels as though mom doesn't take accountability for her drug usage, even though the department did at her request change labs. She continued to test positive for the same substances, and so the provider feels as though she needs to be mandated to go to in-home inpatient because she doesn't take accountability for her drug usage. Therefore, with her, she can't recover because she's never take accountability. Therefore, she feels as though level 1 will not help her.
Okay.
I am checked.
Please don't interrupt.
Oh, I don't know what I apologize, Your Honor.
Yeah, I'll come around and you'll get a chance to respond.
Yes, Your Honor.
Were you through, Ms. Wilcox?
Yes, sir.
All right. Anybody have any questions for Ms. Wilcox, Ms. Crane?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Riddle?
No, sir, I do not have any questions.
Okay. Ms. Nelson, you don't have a lawyer here with you today. If you want to tell me your response or disagreement with what the case manager said, you can do that a little later. But if you have a question you want to ask her, you can ask a question, but it can't be argumentative. It can't be, that's not true. That's your testimony that we'll get to in a little while. So do you have any questions?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Go ahead.
I just want to ask Ms. Wilcox, when is the last time the providers you're speaking of is Ms. Phyllis Leverage? When is the last time you spoke to her?
I spoke with her on, it was this month. I spoke to her on yesterday and today, and prior it was October 30th. She sent me a discharge form that basically stated that the discharge was for October 31st.
Was October 31st discharge? Would I be able to get a copy of those past drug screens and those records in my case?
So the records, we do not, like the case notes that we receive, we do not give those to the parents. However, you can put in a request to the provider to get records.
Would you be able to give me that provider information and the forms that I need to get those?
I could give you the provider information. The forms would probably come from her agency.
All right.
Can you give her copies of the drug screen results?
I have provided her some copies of her drug screens. I think I have to give her the recent ones.
Okay.
And would you also mind sending me the ones before that you said that you couldn't send me with the transmittal stickers that shows the chain of command? Because some of them are missing those.
What do you mean explain that transmittal part to me?
When you send me the drug screens, like they come with the form, like the result screen, and then they come with the chain of command paperwork, the pink, the white, that shows my headband, the date, and all of that on there. Some of them are missing that paperwork. I was just trying to make sure that those were included in the copies that I got.
They're usually 2 pages. It has the one with a copy of the band and the actual result.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. And as far as any other case records that I've been requesting for like a year now, are you going to send me the providers for those as well? Like
What do
as
you mean
far
by
as
case record?
the referrals, the recommendations, the evaluations, even like the new services and the new treatment plans or the new course that we're taking, just the recommendations as who those came from, who authorized it, and like why. Because
now, as far as your evaluations and assessments, when I first met you, remember I copied and pasted all your recommendations and provided you that separately when we went over your case plan. So you're asking for another recommendations?
Not necessarily, just the complete format of it instead of the copy and paste, because it was just like disorganized and disjointed. But I just want just the complete copy of it.
So you would have to put in a formal request in order to get documentations as far
from the provider.
Yes.
Are you going to give me that provider information as well?
Yes, ma'am. I can.
Okay. Maybe one more thing. Have you been able to secure the counselor for the children that I requested for to kind of help them with this process?
What do you mean?
When I was asking about when they first came into service, and I was like, I wanted them to have some kind of therapist so they can have someone to kind of work through these feelings and stuff with. before that, their behavior became affected by it. And now that Cadron's behavior has definitely became affected by it. And he kind of like recessed when he started back using the restroom on himself. And now it's rubbing off on Kalani. That's what I was kind of trying to negate. So like now he has a behavior aid and it's just being effective of his behavior. So it's something that just kind of help him progress instead of recess and developed undesirable, I guess, kind of behavior traits that he didn't have before.
Okay, so to answer that question about the providers, the issue that I am having is getting a play therapist to service him at his age, which is 4. I have not been able to get a provider that is willing to work with him at his age. And I've tried several providers to obtain play therapy for children his age, but I have not been able to obtain one that will take him. Not him per se, but
You just said age group.
for his age.
If I were to give you a list of providers and some resources that I know, would you be willing to look into?
I think she froze.
Am I back?
Oh, okay, yeah, you're back.
I was just saying that I had a list of providers that said that they do work with his age group and they are in this area. If you were willing to look into some of those options.
Yes, ma'am. I would definitely look into them. I just want you to know that with that, it's 2 factors. Number one, either they have to take a mirror route, and if that's not the case, they have to be contracted. They have to be contracted with the state of Georgia in order to receive a payment other than being paid by the insurance.
Gotcha. That's understandable. Alrighty. Well, I guess that's all for right now.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Nelson. Did Ms. Miller, did you have, I don't think I asked you if you had any questions of anybody.
I don't, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Houseworth, do you have any questions? You've got your lawyers here and she didn't have any questions. So that means you don't have any questions.
No, I don't.
Okay, good. And Zidane is with you, right?
Yes, sir.
Is he doing well?
You're doing great.
Good. Is he seeing his Cadrian and Kalani, his stepbrother and sister?
I think he only see them on like holidays and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, does he ask about seeing them more often than that?
Not to me.
Okay, he's the oldest. He's a good bit older than Kalani. It's just a
Yeah.
Ms. Wilcox, is the sibling visitation once a month or once less than every month? He said on holidays.
I'm sorry, Judge.
Go ahead.
What it is the children have weekend visit to it was supposed to accommodate being able to see Zidane and to accommodate for dad's work schedule. So they get a visit either Saturday or Sunday. It's supposed to be weekly. So that was supposed to accommodate for the sibling visit also.
Well, it sounds like, according to Mr. Houseworth, you might need to do some fine tuning because it's not happening that often.
Well, fine tuning as far as Zidane going over to mother's house.
Well, I don't know what necessarily where you have planned for the 3 siblings to get together. It doesn't, I never said where they had to meet. We're supposed to have siblings have regular contact. And he said as far as he knew, they were only seeing each other on holidays, which doesn't sound very frequently.
So, Your Honor, if I may, from my understanding, the visitation between mom and Mr. Houseworth was separate. And from my understanding, Zayden came over to mom's house on the weekends. So
But the other two kids are not over there on the weekends, are they?
they do have
They have David, they come supervised in visits.
Yes.
Okay, I got you. Well, I just want the three kids to have regular contact. Let me go through my checklist. Anybody contend reasonable efforts are not being made to facilitate permanency?
No, Your
Yes, sir.
Court makes that finding. Any
Yes.
material portion of the case plan that has not been implemented?
No, Your
Yes,
Honor.
sir.
Any legally required service that should have been provided to the children, the parents, the foster parents, or other parties that have not been provided?
No, sir.
Case plans are current reunification,
Reunification, that's correct, Judge.
and they remain in the best interest of the children.
They do.
Is visitation appropriate? From what I've heard, I'm not so sure about the sibling. I mean, it's not inappropriate other than it could be more frequent and more regular. The supervised visits you told me were Tuesday and Thursday, and then every other, something about a Saturday or Sunday.
When a provider is available. It's
And-
usually Sundays when she's
Okay.
available. Her next available date is the 17th.
Okay. And the children are not over 14, so I don't have to talk about or look into independent living. Does the department contend that the parents have made substantial progress or have lacked substantial progress?
I would contend dad has made substantial progress and mom has made some progress, Your Honor.
The department is not seeking to terminate parental rights.
Not at this time, Judge.
Okay. Include in your order the findings on that checklist in 216.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there anything else we need to address? Ms. Nelson, I don't know where you live. It's 35 minutes till 5 o'clock. So I don't know if you don't get in a wreck trying to get over here. You can get it to us.
Oh, definitely not. I'm a very cautious driver, Your Honor. But I mean,
But I'll leave it up to you. If you get it over here today, we'll try to look at it. If not today, first thing, I get here at 7 o'clock in the morning. So I'll look at it first thing tomorrow if you get it here this evening, or I'll look at it. I have court all morning tomorrow. So if you get it here tomorrow morning, I'll look at it as soon as I get out of court.
yes, Your Honor, it's no problem.
All right.
But I appreciate you guys' time. But can I say something?
Okay.
I mean, just briefly. I mean, I appreciate you guys' effort and like the position that you guys have in the best interest of the kids. But I have 7 children, and they don't get to see each other like hardly ever, and it's very difficult to try to navigate that with everybody having like different lives and everybody being so disjointed. I mean,
Well, the other children, you've introduced me to one that's 18 as an adult, but are the other children adults or children? Children.
I mean, I have Zayden, I'm sorry, Messiah, he's 14.
Okay.
I mean, they're just used to being together. Like even the 18-year-old and the 20-year-old, like they literally see them every day usually.
Okay. Well, can those kids all be together on the times when Zayden comes over and Kadrian and Kalani are there?
I mean, well, that's the more intricate part of it, and I do try to work around that. Now that my son we got him a vehicle, but my daughter, she's at work sometimes. Sometimes he's at football. I mean, so like everybody just have like other lives that's revolving, but we do try to implement it together.
Okay.
But it still depends on if the visitation lady comes on the Sunday that Zayden is there.
Yeah.
So it's swing and hit and miss, kind of, sort of.
Well, hopefully not too many misses because sometimes things happen, but we
mostly-
need it to be regular.
It's mostly misses. I just said
Okay.
he went from seeing his brothers and sisters every day to hardly never now.
All right. Well, thank y'all for your time. And Mom, you need to give some serious thought on what that your drug counselor told you or told your case manager about
I haven't even
higher
spoke to
level of
her.
care.
Uh,
So I know
we're
it's
working on
tough.
that, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. We'll see y'all at the next review, which will be in 6 months. Which
Your Honor.
has gotten me a date of June the 11th at 2:00 on Zoom. And I noticed that Ms. Nelson, they had couple of missed drug screens and one refusal, but I don't need to hear about any refusals.
I mean, I think I apologize, Your Honor. You're absolutely correct.
And then the law says when removal involves alcohol or drug use, that we have to have a record of 12 months of clean drug screens. We can reunify. And if we've got big gaps because somebody's making themselves scarce, and sometimes we have drug screeners who are not on the ball, but I haven't heard anything about that in this case. But you need to make sure we want them random, but if nothing else, you let them know, look, I haven't been screened. I need to be screened. We'll take that into account that it's not random, but we need a history of regular negative screens. And
yes, Your Honor, I understand.
Okay. Everybody take care. I hope you all have a great holiday and a safe holiday, and I'll see you in the new year. Take care.
Yes, Your Honor.
Concludes the hearing. Bye-bye.